Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Cool Colas here to bring you the hustler's perspective. I hope everybody is having a good day today. I got a pretty interesting topic for you guys, and it's one that's so controversial that it's been talked about for such a long time now, and it's something that I feel the need to clear the air on now because everybody has this certain point of view on it and may need to kind of see my point of view on how I feel about the subject matter. But the topic that I want to talk to you all about is how I feel about putting all of your business on social media and what does that mean. Now, this probably is obvious why such a topic like that is controversial because everybody talks about social media, and social media has pretty much monopolized everybody's actual life, and everybody has a certain way that they feel about being on social media. So I think what I need to really discuss here is um, like the purpose of putting your business on social media, and they talk about the importance or the non-importance, if that's even really a word, of being on social media and the appropriate way or mindset that a social media user has or should have. And then I want to kind of reflect on its evolution a little bit here. So the first thing I want to get to is that everyone seems to look at social media as if it's bad or negative. Now, let me tell you what my impression on that is. I think what everybody tends to do is they think that social media kind of resists the old school ways of communication. Therefore, they create this stigma that a person who like regularly uses social media as their way of communicating is actually lacking in communication because they're either always on their phone or they're always like on Facebook, or they're always like sending text messages, or they're always looking at and that's, I guess, text messages is not really social media, but you get my idea of the idea of using something to communicate with someone through some form of media. Then you got like people who may go on Instagram, they're posting pictures. You got people who go on Twitter and things like that. But anyway, my point is that people have for a long time been creating this stigma that being on social media is a negative thing. Now, a lot of people say that people become too consumed by it, like they're always on social media. They're always trying to go on Facebook. They're always trying to go on Instagram. They're always trying to go on Twitter. They're always trying to just communicate with people and tell their business and so on and so forth. So let me just say this to kind of clear the air about that before I go any further. The fact of the matter is, too much indulgence in anything, whether it's social media, whether it's video games, whether it's smoking, whether it's watching too much television, whether it's even drinking too much water, is a bad thing. Indulgence too much in anything is a bad thing. So the first thing that you need to focus on when you think about negativity on social media is the idea of indulgence. But indulgence is just a very bad habit in general. And it's a very bad habit because it deals with the obsession of doing something in access and doing something too much. So it's not the idea of social media that makes it negative, but it's the person who indulges in the social media, or the idea of indulgence, that overindulgence, that makes it negative. So that's the first thing that I want to kind of bring forth is it's the idea of using it and watching it and looking at it in access and letting it consume your life. And let me be more specific, letting it consume your time. That is the worst part. It consumes your time. So I think that that's where everybody kind of gets this negative connotation about the focus on social media. The focus itself is not bad. Overindulgence in the focus is what's bad, but people aren't really specifying it like that. They're creating this evil, or subconsciously, that social media they feel has produced. And social media itself cannot be evil. It's the idea of indulging in it that is is negative and can be impactful. I think evil is kind of a strong word, but impactful. So negatively. So here's the truth of the matter going forward. Everybody says it's negative because you have to look a guy in the eye and you need to shake his hand and speak with him and have that face-to-face communication, and we're turning to a society where that's not the case so much in order to communicate. Now, mind you, that there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your style and that's the way that you like to meet people and that's the way that you like to conduct your business, that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with healthy face-to-face communication, but that does not mean that it is appropriate to knock or I guess I guess throw too much. I'll say, like, for lack of better words and use slang to say, throw too much shade on this idea of social media. And the thing is that it's just a different way of communication, and it's the way that the world is functioning. Like, having to sit face to face does not make you a better communicator with someone, and it doesn't mean that you're going to conduct business better than someone else who uses social media. It does not mean any of that. The way the world is working is that technology is allowing us to communicate with each other on a very remote basis. What I mean by that is it allows us to communicate when we're in the comforts of our own home, when we're like trying to communicate with somebody who's in Michigan and maybe we live in Texas, or maybe we live in Japan and then we're communicating with somebody in the United States. It allows us that remote ability to still communicate. When you meet face to face, that's, you may feel that realness of the conversation. Some of you may. Me personally, it does not matter. I promise you, it will not matter whether I'm face to face with somebody or whether I'm communicating with them over the phone or by text. That's just me. Like I said, that's not everybody. That's just me. But I think that when you do communicate face to face, and this is me showing you the vices of the other way, is you are risking and sacrificing a lot of your time. The reason why you're sacrificing a lot of your time is because you have to get up, you have to go to meet someone, or they have to come to pick you up, or you all have to kind of meet in the middle. Either way, you're sacrificing your time to travel, then to get there, then to go back, where you could be in the comforts of your own home and still have that same amount of communication. Instead of saying, basically what you're saying is, if I am not going to use my social media to communicate with someone because it's negative, then instead what I'm sacrificing is the time that it takes for me to get to the person so that I can look at them for, like, psychologically, like that's supposed to help. And then that means that I also have to travel back after I'm done meeting with them. So that's more time that's taken out of your day. And you got to keep in mind, time is more important than money. So really, you're losing money because you could be doing something else. Like maybe you're trying to make money at the time when you're communicating with somebody socially in that manner. So again, my point is that I think that people need to understand that it's a more simplistic way of communicating with another person. So in other words, I think social media is a very neutral thing. It's just what's happening to the world, and it's the reality of what's going to continue to develop. Social media is going to be the way to the future, and it's only going to continue to advance, and it's only going to continue to evolve. So with that being said, I think anybody who is kind of opposing it and seeing it as negative needs to just stop resisting, because what they're really doing is resisting the change that is going to take place, and that takes place in life. You're just resisting it, and you've got to stop, because that's the simplest way to not be able to adapt anymore. So again, social media itself and communicating via social media is a very neutral thing, because it's all it is a different way to communicate. I think it's a more evolved way to communicate, because it saves you time and it saves you a little bit of effort as well too. But personally, I think it's better, but I think that it's appropriate for me to say it's a neutral thing. It's neutral in the sense that it's just a different way of communicating. But anyway, so the other thing is that there's a trend that you have to create this image that you are like not going to be judged by others. Judged by others could be your peers, could be your friends, it could be acquaintances, and most important, and this is the one I think that everybody is waiting for me to say, by jobs. Now, here's the thing. When you're on social media, the only reason why people give social media a negative stigma is because everybody in the world for the longest time has been trying to strive to be a working person, not an entrepreneur, but a working person. And because of that, they've been trying to create an image so that they can be professional for whatever job that they may potentially get. And so when people are posting, all these kind of all these things like for example, they're partying and they have a beer in their hand, or they have photos with guns, or they have a photo of a girl who's like dressed and like half naked and like things like that. My point is that like those types of things, I guess, are kind of images that other people judge. And a lot of times you'll even hear from other people and they're like, oh, why is this person doing this or why is this person doing that? And the main reason why is because that stigma has been created that there's a certain decorum that you're supposed to have when you're on social media because of one, what other people are going to think, or two, what jobs that are not going to hire you, slash, what other people think again. So if you're a working person, my advice to you is to see this as something to follow. What I mean by that is be careful of the things that you put online, like because it's always going to be out there, such as like some of the examples that I said, like drinking a beer or you're half naked girl and you're shaking your butt on social media or something like that. Now, mind you, you can do whatever you want. Immoral, you're not immoral for that. You're not going to be less of a person for that, in my eyes, at least. Now, other people, they're going to say whatever they're going to say about you. In my eyes, that doesn't make a person immoral. That doesn't make a person, not qualified for even a job. But I think for the sakes of the fact that you want to be a working person, the reality is that the world that you live in, you're going to have to do things to be able to impress them. Now, mind you, that's if you want to be a working person. If you want to be an entrepreneur and somebody who's motivated, if you have the mindset of like myself, of course I'm going to present myself the way that I see myself fit for me. Not because I want other people to judge me, not because I want other people to say, hey, I like what Nick is doing. I don't care what other people think about me. I've said this over and over again. I really don't care what other people think about me. So the way I present myself is the way that I see myself fit and the way that I feel about myself. So anything that I post is because I feel that way about it and I really don't care what other people have to say about it. So as a person who seriously wants to be an influential person in this world, I don't try to worry about those types of things. Mainly because I don't do those. I don't do a lot of that stuff. And if I do talk about things on social media, a lot of times I'm talking about my channel, I'm talking about my blog, or I'm talking about comic stuff. And the reason why is because I'm a writer. I write my own comics and I write my own stories and stuff like that. Or I'll talk about a TV show I watch, which again is related to the stuff that I write, or I talk about just being a black male or something like that, like, or I talk about being like a young millennial. So that's why I say like those are the stuff that you're going to see from me, and that's because it's a representation of the things that I believe and the things that I see fit. So I guess my this is kind of how I look at it, and there's a couple ways you can look at it. If you are a working person, sure, the only and that's all you strive to be, of course, then you're gonna have to just play the rules because that's what you've decided that you wanted to do. If you are a person who wants to be an entrepreneur, if you're a person who wants to be an influencer like myself, then the last thing that you should be doing is listening to what other people have to say about you or about the things that you do. So again, that does not make it immoral. Now, if you're over there posting pictures of you killing someone, of course that's immoral because you're obviously bragging about the things that you've done. And but like I think that for what it's worth, what you are is what you are. It's following what you believe you are and what you know and what you believe you are and what you are striving to be. That's what creating that image is for. So that's why I said it shouldn't matter what other people think about you. You're branding yourself so people can see the type of person who you are based off of the fact that you're doing things for yourself. So in other words, you're showing people who you are, not I guess expecting them to praise you or to basically throw stones at you, but you're branding yourself so that other people know of your existence and that you can start being that influential person that you want to be, to influence people to either follow your example or at least see who you are, and that's for like anybody who wants to build a brand, build a business, be an entrepreneur, like being able to present that image of what you want to do for the world. But again, I think that it all depends on your mindset. The other thing that I will say is, and this is kind of going back to the whole if you want to be a working person for the rest of your life and that's all you care about. Well, the one thing that I will say is this, and this is where I can understand where um, jobs and things like that, who like are monitoring your stuff on social media, why I can understand where they're coming from. This is the only way I can understand, because a lot of times the things that you put on social media, and I think this is constant for whether or not you're a worker or for if you want to be someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, the things that you post are a good representation of the things that you believe and the things that you like to do and the things that you think are okay. So, and the reason why I say that is because I mean, like the truth of the matter is that it's not about morals. Although other people are telling you that it's about morals and decorum and class and all this other crap that doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that that's your mindset, and you're portraying that's what your mindset is. So other jobs, other employers are going to see something. They'll say, "Hey, that's your mindset. We don't want this a person representing our company because then with that comes scandal, potential scandal, and then bad publicity, meaning bad business." So I can understand that part of it. The part that I don't understand is, not being able to just, enjoy yourself and to portray your life the way that you see fit because you're afraid that somebody else is going to judge you, somebody else being an employer, somebody else being your parent or whoever this is. Again, like I said, it's not about morals. It's about where you see yourself in your life, and also knowing who you are. So if you know who you are, you know what you would post. You know what you feel is acceptable for you because it's all about you, and that's the way that your mind works. But I think that for what it is, it's also about like where you see yourself in life. Do you see yourself as an employer or an employer or an employee? If you see yourself as an employer and somebody who is going to be an entrepreneur and influence the world, then the last thing that you care about is somebody else monitoring your stuff to see, like what you are and are not doing. If you are somebody who wants to be an employee, then you got to play the game. Now, here's the other point that I have. It's all about the mindset. So it's common that to hear in social media that it's all about putting your business out there, which is an assumption that can be true or untrue. So if you are a person who is an entrepreneur, who wants to be an entrepreneur or is an entrepreneur, you see yourself as a brand. You see yourself as someone who wants to influence the world based off of their own views. Like I said, but doesn't mean that you're aiming for someone to agree or disagree with you, but you're just hoping that as you're being yourself, that other people who are like you will say, "Hey, that this is cool. I'll check out this person," or at least gives you that gives other people that eye that you exist in the world, and other people can also see that as well too. That's all a part of branding. So again, I'm going to go back to myself. I think that it's a social media is a wonderful thing for a person who sees themselves as an influential person or an entrepreneur or a business owner or whatever. The reason why I say that is because it's a better way and a faster way and a more efficient way to be able to help other people to see who you are and what you bring to the table, and the business that you have and what you're going to do for the world. So um I guess the thing is that branding yourself is allows you to authentically show who you are, because if you're not being yourself authentically, it's going to crash and burn. You can only live a lie for so long if you can live it at all. You have to live the truth that exists within you. And I think that what's going to continue to happen here is we're going to turn in a world where social media is going to totally monopolize everything. So meeting face to face and getting in your car, going somewhere, getting on a plane, going somewhere is going to be totally obsolete. Now, people are still going to do it because some people enjoy it, but I think that this is a very quick way to get your face and your name out there, especially when you have different people and different audiences who tune into different methods of social media. And then you can do things like you can share videos, and you can like videos and things like that, and then you can have things go viral. So I think that it's important as a person who's influential, to understand that social media is going to be a great way for you to get your name and your face out there, as long as you're broadcasting the truth that you live for yourself. So um, I think that I think it's a very important thing, and I think it's a very necessary thing. Now, mind you, I again I say the whole thing is neutral on the basis of that versus meeting face to face, because they're both just different ways of communication. I just think that what social media does is it brings this idea of saving your time to the table, so you have all of your time to still do the things that you need to do and the things that you need to get done. So that's just my 2 cents on it. But I think that's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy what I had to say and my 2 cents on the topic. But with that being said, if you like what you heard today, then there's going to be a lot more to come. So continue to check out the Hustler's Perspective. If you guys want to check out my actual blog, then you can check out hustlersjackpot.com. If you guys want to go to the Facebook page for my YouTube channel here, you can go to the Hustlers Perspective YouTube channel. If you guys would like to go to my blog channel on Facebook, then you can go to the Hustlers Jackpot. If you want to check out my Instagram for business purposes, you can check out at the Hustlers Jackpot. And if you would like to check out my personal page, you can go to at Cool Colas. With that being said, I hope you guys have a good day. There's going to be a lot more to come. Keep checking up on the updates for this channel, and you guys are going to continue to be enthralled by the knowledge that I can give to you. So I will see you guys later. Keep hustling.